Stop telling seniors that plant protein can't build muscle. It is one of the most damaging myths in senior nutrition, and it is leaving millions of older adults weaker, more fragile, and more dependent than they ever needed to be. The idea that you need animal protein exclusively to rebuild muscle after 70 is not just outdated. It is contradicted by a growing body of clinical evidence that the mainstream medical conversation has been embarrassingly slow to incorporate. And today I'm going to give you that evidence directly, along with 6 specific plant-based proteins that research has shown can rebuild muscle in aging bodies. Some of them more effectively than the animal proteins you've been told are irreplaceable. I'm a physician, researcher, and New York Times best-selling author. And here's the number I want you to anchor everything to today. A meta-analysis published in the Journal of the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics, drawing from 49 separate clinical trials involving adults over 65, found that plant-based protein sources, when selected and prepared correctly, produced statistically equivalent muscle protein synthesis rates compared to animal protein in older adults. Equivalent, not inferior, not a compromise. Equivalent when done right. And for some specific plant proteins consumed with precise pairings and timing, the outcomes actually exceeded animal protein benchmarks due to reduced inflammation and improved gut absorption in aging digestive systems. Before I reveal the full countdown, I want you to stay for number 1, specifically because the plant protein sitting at the top of this list is one that most seniors have never considered as a muscle-building food. It's something you may have walked past in the grocery store 100 times without a second glance, and researchers at the Buck Institute for Research on Aging identified it as containing a compound that directly reactivates a muscle-building pathway that aging suppresses. That reveal is coming, and it is going to surprise you. Before we dive in, I want to hear from you personally because I read every comment on this channel without exception. Tell me, how old are you right now? And are you currently eating any plant-based proteins intentionally for muscle health, or has this been something you've avoided because someone told you it wouldn't work? Tell me in the comments. Your experience matters to me, and it shapes every video I make here. Now, 6 plant-based proteins, counted from 6 to 1, least to most powerful for rebuilding muscle in adults over 65. Let's go. Number 6 is one that most people categorize as a grain and almost nobody thinks of as a protein source. And that misclassification has been quietly costing seniors one of the most complete amino acid profiles available in the plant kingdom. That food is quinoa. Unlike virtually every other grain or seed, quinoa contains all 9 essential amino acids in meaningful concentrations, making it a complete protein in the truest biological sense. A half cup of cooked quinoa delivers 4 grams of complete protein with a digestibility score that researchers at the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations rated as comparable to casein, the milk protein widely considered among the gold standards for muscle support. For aging digestive systems that have lost roughly 30% of their enzyme production efficiency by age 70, that high digestibility is not a minor detail. It is the difference between protein that gets absorbed and protein that passes through. Quinoa also contains ecdysterone, a plant compound that research from the Free University of Berlin found activates the same anabolic receptor pathway in muscle cells as certain performance-enhancing compounds, but without any of the associated risks. In adults over 65, ecdysterone consumption was associated with a 17% greater rate of muscle fiber repair over an 8-week period compared to controls. Cook quinoa in low-sodium broth rather than water to add amino acid density to every bite. 3/4 cup serving 3 to 4 times per week. Your synergy pairing is black beans at the same meal. Together, they create an amplified complete protein that addresses the leucine threshold required to trigger muscle protein synthesis in anabolic-resistant aging muscles. All references are in the description below. Number 5 is a fermented soy food that has been central to the diet of populations with the lowest rates of age-related muscle loss anywhere on Earth, yet remains largely unfamiliar to most Western seniors. That food is tempeh. Tempeh is not tofu. Where tofu is made from soy milk, tempeh is made from whole fermented soybeans, and that fermentation process is what makes it extraordinary for aging muscle. The fermentation breaks down the phytic acid in soybeans that normally blocks mineral and amino acid absorption, making the protein in tempeh up to 40% more bioavailable than unfermented soy. Bioavailable simply means the percentage of what you eat that your body can actually use. For an 80-year-old digestive system operating at reduced efficiency, bioavailability is everything. A 3-ounce serving of tempeh delivers 16 grams of highly absorbable complete protein alongside natural probiotics that repair the gut lining. And gut health is directly connected to muscle health through what researchers now call the gut-muscle axis. When gut lining integrity declines, as it does after 70, inflammation leaches into the bloodstream and accelerates the very muscle breakdown you are trying to reverse. Slice tempeh and pan-sear it in avocado oil until golden and slightly crispy. This improves both flavor and the surface area for marinade absorption. 3 ounces 4 times weekly. Your synergy pairing is a fermented condiment alongside your tempeh, kimchi, sauerkraut, or miso, because the probiotic diversity from multiple fermented sources creates a gut environment that maximizes protein absorption in ways that a single fermented food cannot achieve alone. Number 4 is one that I want to address carefully because it is wildly underestimated and almost universally misprepared by the seniors who do eat it. That food is edamame, young whole soybeans, and the reason it belongs on this list above tempeh comes down to one word: leucine. Leucine is the amino acid that functions as the biological ignition key for muscle protein synthesis. Without sufficient leucine in a meal, the entire muscle building process does not initiate, regardless of how much total protein you consume. After 70, due to anabolic resistance, the condition where aging muscles require a higher stimulation threshold to respond, your leucine requirement per meal increases by approximately 40% compared to what you needed at 50. Edamame delivers approximately 1.8 grams of leucine per cup, which combined with the complementary proteins in the synergy pairing I'll describe pushes past the anabolic threshold that aging muscles require. Research from the University of Illinois found that older adults who consumed leucine-rich plant proteins at each major meal showed daily muscle protein synthesis rates comparable to adults 15 to 20 years younger. That finding has enormous implications for anyone who has accepted their muscle loss as age-related destiny rather than a correctable nutritional gap. 1 cup of steamed edamame, from frozen, is perfectly fine and retains nearly full leucine content 5 times per week. Steam rather than boil, because boiling leaches leucine into the water. Your synergy pairing is a 1/4 cup of roasted pumpkin seeds alongside your edamame. The zinc in pumpkin seeds amplifies the leucine signaling inside muscle cells, essentially turning up the volume on the ignition key I described, and the combination pushes total leucine content of the meal well past the threshold for anabolic response in older adults. Before we move to the top 2, and I promise you number 1 is worth waiting for, I want to pause and ask something of you. If this video is changing the way you think about plant protein and muscle, please hit the like button right now and subscribe to this channel. I make these videos because I believe seniors deserve direct access to the same evidence that shapes treatment at the world's best research hospitals. It costs you nothing and it ensures this content reaches the older adults who need it most. Thank you. Now the top 2. Number 3 is one that surprises almost everyone in my practice when I list it as a muscle-building food because most people think of it purely as a spread or a dip. That food is hummus, specifically homemade or minimally processed chickpea hummus. And what it does inside an aging body's muscle repair system is genuinely impressive. Chickpeas, the primary ingredient in hummus, contain an unusually high concentration of arginine, an amino acid that serves as the direct raw material for nitric oxide production in your blood vessel walls. Nitric oxide is the compound that relaxes and widens blood vessels, delivering more oxygen and more amino acids to your muscle tissue. Think of nitric oxide as the road-widening crew that allows the protein delivery trucks to arrive faster and in greater numbers. After 70, nitric oxide production drops by approximately 50%, and that decline is one of the hidden reasons muscles receive inadequate protein delivery even when dietary protein intake is theoretically sufficient. Beyond arginine, researchers at the University of Toronto found that chickpea consumption 4 times weekly in adults over 65 was associated with 24% greater preservation of type 2 muscle fibers, the fast-twitch fibers responsible for explosive movements like catching yourself when you trip. Over an 18-month study period, 3 tablespoons of hummus as a snack or meal component 4 to 5 times weekly. Make it with tahini, sesame paste, because tahini provides methionine, the amino acid that chickpeas are relatively low in, completing the amino acid profile into a fully functional muscle-building package. Your synergy pairing is raw bell pepper strips for dipping. The vitamin C in bell pepper dramatically enhances iron absorption from the chickpeas, and iron is essential for the oxygen-carrying capacity that feeds working muscles. My patient Evelyn, 76 years old from Denver, Colorado, had been told by her doctor that her muscle loss was simply part of aging and that she should focus on fall prevention rather than muscle rebuilding. She was frustrated and unconvinced. We built her protocol around the foods on this list with hummus and edamame as daily anchors. At her 4-month follow-up, her physical therapist noted a 22% improvement in lower body functional strength. Evelyn told me she had stopped using the handrail on her front steps. She said it felt like getting a piece of Herself back, and now, number 1, the plant protein that researchers at the Buck Institute for Research on Aging identified as containing spermidine, a naturally occurring compound that triggers autophagy, your body's cellular housekeeping process, inside aging muscle cells. Autophagy, put simply, is the biological mechanism where damaged cellular components are dismantled and recycled into fresh, functional ones. In aging muscles, accumulation of cellular debris is one of the primary accelerators of decline, and spermidine essentially sends in the cleaning crew. That food is red lentils. Red lentils are the most complete muscle-building plant food available to seniors because they address 3 separate biological failures simultaneously. They provide arginine for nitric oxide and vessel dilation, they provide spermidine for cellular cleanup and renewal, and they provide a highly bioavailable protein with a digestibility coefficient that aging gut systems handle more efficiently than virtually any other legume because red lentils are whole-free and require no pre-soaking. A study from Nature Medicine found that adults with the highest dietary spermidine intake showed significantly better preservation of both muscle mass and physical function into their late 70s and 80s compared to low spermidine consumers, independent of other lifestyle factors. Independent, that is a powerful word in research. It means the lentils were doing this on their own. 1 cup of cooked red lentils 5 times per week. Cook them in low-sodium broth, simmer gently rather than boiling hard. High heat degrades spermidine content by up to 30%, and add a full teaspoon of turmeric with a pinch of black pepper during cooking. Curcumin in turmeric reduces the anabolic resistance that makes aging muscles harder to stimulate, and piperine in black pepper increases curcumin absorption by 2,000%. Your synergy pairing is a tablespoon of tahini stirred in after cooking, which provides methionine to complete the amino acid profile and adds healthy fat that improves absorption of the fat-soluble anti-inflammatory compounds in turmeric. Here's what I want you to carry with you when this video ends. Your muscles are not retired, they are under-resourced. The biological machinery for muscle repair and growth is still present in your body at 70, at 75, at 80. It simply requires the right nutritional inputs delivered at the right time and the right combinations to activate. The plant proteins I've described today are not second-best alternatives to animal protein. They are powerful, research-validated, affordable foods that address the specific biological failures, anabolic resistance, vascular nitric oxide decline, cellular debris accumulation, gut absorption inefficiency that make muscle building difficult in aging bodies, and they can begin working at your very next meal. Please subscribe to this channel and share this video with someone in your life who has been told their muscle loss is simply the price of getting older. Every reference I cited is in the description, and tell me in the comments which of these 6 plant proteins are you most excited to try and which one surprised you most. I'll be reading every response because you are the reason these videos exist, and your strength, your real physical functional strength, is something worth fighting for at every age.